One of my favorite guests, young mind in the world of sports. I've had his back for a while because I'm very impressed with him. I genuinely like him, like his knowledge, like his demeanor, like his commitment to excellence. And I'm a fan of his, and I think he's got a bright young future, and I'm looking forward to helping him any way that I can. Please welcome, during an earlier conversation I had, by the way, let me introduce this right. I was wearing a different outfit because I interviewed him a few hours ago because I had to tape the interview because I got the game coming up. But he's the co-founder of Enjoy Basketball and the co-host of the Through the Wire podcast. He's my man. He's the one and only Kenny Beecham. Here's me talking to him a little bit earlier about the NBA Finals and beyond. Check it out. What's up, big time? How are you, man? What's going on, youngster? How you doing?
I'm feeling good, man. I do love the rebrand, Stephen A. I got to admit, having the Stephen A. Smith show, I like the way it sounds.
Yeah, man, I had to do it like that. Every time somebody's Googling, they ain't Googling No Mercy. They Googling Stephen A. You know what I'm saying? I just came to my senses. I thought that was the wise thing to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. But let's get to you. By the way, proud of you, proud of the work that you continue to do, man. Keep continuing to shine. That's why I love letting everybody know what you know about the game of basketball and beyond. That's why I like having you on this show. Let's get right to it. You and I are talking right before Game 4 of the NBA Finals. What have you seen in these first 3 games of this NBA Finals series? What has it told you both about the Denver Nuggets and about the Miami Heat?
Well, from the Denver Nuggets aspect, I think we see why most people had them as a heavy favorite going into the series. Even the game that they lost, I think they walked away with it saying, like, the only thing that we're missing right now is the effort. KCP talked about it. Mike Malone talked about it. And then you saw in Game 3, the effort was there. There was only one time that I remember watching where there was this big miscommunication between player A and player B. And it was like Jamal Murray pointing at KCP. KCP raised his hand, and that was about the extent of it. We know that Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray's two-man game is like that, and we're seeing it night in and night out. And honestly, the Miami Heat just don't have enough firepower, I think, to really take 3 of the next, 5 games is gonna, or 3 of the next 4. Right, 3 of the next 5 to make it happen.
3 of the next 4, 3 of the next 4. I mean, 3 of the next 4. But let me say this to you, man. I got to tell you, I've been wondering about this too, Kenny. And I love me some Jimmy Butler. I know you do too. Blue collar, hard worker, worked his way up to stardom. You know, departed from the Philadelphia 76ers. This is his 2nd NBA Finals appearance, his 3rd Eastern Conference Finals appearance in 4 years. We know what this dude is. We know what he means to the game of basketball, and in particular, and more specifically, the Miami Heat. But when we use the word superstar, that's where question marks come into play, because we know LeBron is a superstar. We know Steph Curry is a superstar. We know guys like that. I mean, these are superstars. Giannis Antetokounmpo, even though Jimmy Butler's taking them out. I mean, we know he's a superstar, okay? When you think about Jimmy Butler and you see the limitations against the Denver Nuggets, particularly considering the leaning on this need to get to the free throw line, because so much of his offensive success is predicated on his ability to get to the line. Have we reached a point where respect and deference needs to be given to Jimmy Butler, but we need to stop short of saying superstar, considering what's happened to him over the last several postseason games, and in particular this NBA Finals series?
It's tough to say, because I think I would still probably give him that title. I'm not a guy that's going to linger on excuses. I think Jimmy Butler is the same way, right? But when we watched that series against the New York Knicks, where there had been Game 3, Game 4, we had the moment where Josh Hart kind of collided with his ankle. And I honestly do believe that the ankle is causing a lot of problems for Jimmy right now.
So do I.
And I think we're seeing that where, like, their offensive – the goal right now is to let Bam be the facilitator, let Bam be the guy that's taking a lot of the shots. Where through the first series and a half before that injury, I mean, there was nobody in the world that could stand in front of Jimmy Butler. And one thing that feels like it is a point of emphasis for the Denver Nuggets is to stay down in that pump fake from Jimmy. I mean, the man averaged 9 free throw attempts a game in the regular season. He only gets more in the postseason. Right. But as we see through the first 3 games, it's a struggle. Game 1, they shot 2 free throws as a team.
That's right.
Right. So I think what you're saying right now has some merit to it, where, you know, he is overcompensating by trying to draw the free throw more often than not. Right. But I honestly think that the game plan from the Denver Nuggets to make him be a shooter is working out to the greatest possible. Will they allow him and Bam Adebayo to take the shots that they need? Because we don't want you to get into this painted area because that's where the fouls are going to happen, and that's where you are at your best. So, Bam, you can take your 12 to 15-footer. We'll live with those. Jimmy Butler, you can shoot 1 for 4 from 3 every single game.
Right.
We'll be fine. We're going to take away all the other stuff, and the other stuff for the last series was Caleb Martin. It was Max Strus. And as we see through the first 3 games, those dudes haven't stepped up the way you want them to.
That's been depressing, to be quite honest with you, because we all know that the Denver Nuggets have the better roster. They're the better team. They were the number 1 seed throughout the vast majority of this season in the Western Conference for a reason. They have not 1 but 2 stars, because I'll get into Jamal Murray with you in just a second. Excuse me, when we're talking about stars. But staying with Miami for a quick second here, I'm going like this. Bam Adebayo, 7 for 21 shooting. I understand that you've had some decent games. You're obviously better than average. You're an all-star caliber player. You just ain't Jokic. There's no crime in that, to be honest with you. There really is no crime in that. When you look at Jimmy Butler, okay, that's their strategy against him. But I'm looking at I'm down here in Miami, Kenny. I got to tell you, I've already, you know me. I mean, I got the key to South Beach. You know that. I know politicians. I know politicians. I know local PD. I know members of the sheriff's department. I put out an APB. I had them put out an APB for Caleb Martin. I don't know what the hell is going on. Can't find the brother. After he played the way that he played in the Eastern Conference Finals, Max Strus, he shoots, 0 for 10 in game 1, came out and hit like 3 threes in the first quarter in game 2, and then we can't find him again yesterday in game 3. I'm just wondering right now, when you look at Miami, should Damian Lillard be somebody that they're in tireless pursuit of to get to South Beach? Should that be the
ticket? Absolutely. I think so. The question is whether or not Portland is going to do the thing. We've talked about it for years at this point. And I've always been a dude that's like, hey, I'm not going to try to force it because we can only do so much as people that's watching it, right? If Dame says he wants to stay and the front office say they want him to stay, then he's going to stay, right? But, I mean, you look at it, I mean, the questions that he answered over the last 48 hours, I mean, Miami Heat was top of mind when he was asked about potential teams. But the thing is, if I am the Portland Trailblazers, I feel like the potential package that I can get from a Damian Lillard, it's more. Because we talk about
but from who though, Kenny? You can't just throw that out, Kenny. From who? Give us names. Give us the team. Who's gonna give them more?
I don't know, but this is what I'm saying about the Miami Heat's trade package. Right now, we're looking at with Tyler Hero and one of the other roster fillers to make the salary match, and then they have 2 to 3 tradable first-round picks.
Okay,
this is the Miami Heat we're talking about. This team has been perennially playoff team, a conference final team. We talking about the 23rd over. I'm trading Damian Lillard for Tyler Hero and a 23rd overall pick every single season. That's not something I'm interested in. Now, I think that I'm not saying that they missed the boat when it came to trading Dame, but there are a lot more suitors for Dame a year and a half ago when they were trying to figure out what's going on with Ben Simmons and the 76ers had draft capital and Ben Simmons or anything like that. So I don't know what Portland is going to do. But if I'm the Miami Heat, absolutely, I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling because this is the second playoff run in a row where Tyler Hero has been injured. As great as he was in the bubble to help them get to the finals last year in the conference finals, he couldn't play. And now he's trying, but they keep saying he's having a swelling. I mean, we just extended this man. He's getting $30 million a year, and he's sitting on the sideline with a bucket hat on and not getting buckets in the game.
Right. Well, I got news for you.
You have to start thinking about it.
I got news for you, Kenny. If I'm the Miami Heat, it ain't just Tyler Hero I'm willing to give up. I'm also willing to give up Gabe Vincent. It's not just Tyler Hero and Gabe Vincent that I'm willing to give up. Guess what? I might entertain giving up Duncan Robinson too. I mean, I might do that, even though I like the development. He's learned how to handle the ball a little bit, getting to the rack a little bit more. I get all of that. But hell, he wasn't playing until the postseason. So guess what? I might consider that along with those picks. If I'm Philadelphia, I might remove Tobias Harris. And I might give him Tobias Harris, or whether it's Shake Milton or DeAnthony Melton, along with Tobias Harris. As long as I'm holding on to Maxey and Embiid, I think I'm all right. I think I'm all right. I'm doing something like that if I'm the Philadelphia 76ers. I ain't giving up Maxey. I ain't giving up Embiid. But everybody else, I'm open to talk about that. To that, you say what?
That's respectable, but I think that the market has set itself when it comes to these superstar players, whether it been the Kevin Durant trade, that was Mikal Bridges, who looks like a stud, and 4 first-round picks and 2 swaps, or whether it been the Paul George trade from a few years back that was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's blossomed into a superstar himself, plus 4 first-round picks and 2 swaps. That's the type of market we've set for a superstar caliber player. And some of the teams that would be interested in Damian Lillard don't have that. Right? The 76ers have Maxey, but I'm not trading Maxey because he's our piece to win the championship.
Right.
So that's how it is. I just don't know how the market is going to play for Dame. He signed an extension, which is good.
But you're talking about a market like, okay, the market has been set. Sometimes the market can be set in such a way that everybody's saying, oh, hell no, we ain't going that route. Let's take the NFL, for example, for a quick second. You look at Deshaun Watson, he gets $230 million guaranteed. Baltimore said, hell no, we ain't giving that to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson tried to hold their feet to the fire. Meanwhile, Kyler Murray got $189 million guaranteed. Jalen Hurts got $179 million guaranteed. Russell Wilson settled for $165 million guaranteed. And all of a sudden, here comes Lamar Jackson. He ends up settling for around those dollars as well. So what I'm saying to you is that sometimes that market that was set can be altered because people say, you crazy. We ain't that damn stupid. We ain't going to do that. And I think that's what we're going to start seeing in the National Basketball Association. Let me transition back to the NBA for a quick second. If we're going to talk about Jimmy Butler in the regard that we talked about him in terms of us knowing he's not 100%, that ankle is still bothering him, that he could do a lot more if he wasn't grimacing all the damn time because he's clearly trying to rough his way through it. What are we to say about Jamal Murray? Because here's my analysis on Denver. Jokic is big time, and we know that, and we know what he brings to the table. But when we look at Nikola Jokic, we say, damn, what a great, great player. When we look at Jamal Murray getting off, we say, damn, the Denver Nuggets are unbeatable. That's how we feel about the Denver Nuggets. So what should that say to the basketball world, Kenny Beecham, about Jamal Murray?
Well, I think a lot of it deals with the fact that in the regular season, Jamal Murray is just he's a guy that hasn't really been in all-star conversations, right? For his NBA regular season career, he's averaged 17 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. This season, he averaged 20 points per game in the regular season. There was 42 players in the National Basketball Association that averaged more points than Jamal Murray. But what has Jamal Murray showed us, whether it's been in 2020 or this season, when the playoffs come around, he's one of those guys. We talk about how Kawhi Leonard steps it up. We talk about how Jimmy Butler stupidly locked in. We talk about Rajon Rondo from a decade ago. Jamal Murray is in that conversation now. Because at 17, 4 and 4 point per game average for the first couple years of his career is 25, 6 and 5 now in the playoffs. It's triple double in the finals when in a must-win situation, if you ask me. It's in the bubble where everybody said, oh, that's not real. He can't do this all the time. He's showing right now that he can do this. When he went down with his ACL injury, he was afraid that the Denver Nuggets were going to trade him away. He saw himself as damaged goods, and Mike Malone and all of his teammates had to go in and reassure him that you are the key factor for us to win a championship. And right now, they're 2 games away from making that a reality. Last year, right before the playoffs, he was cleared. He was cleared to play ball. And remember, Nikola Jokic just won an MVP with Campazzo as his starting point guard. He just won a MVP where Austin Rivers no disrespect to Austin Rivers, got a lot of love for him, but he's starting in playoff games, right? And Jamal Murray was cleared to play. But he said to the media, I do not personally, I know what the doctors are saying, I don't personally feel like I'm ready, whether it be mentally or physically. And he got some pushback on that from the media, whether it be Denver media or the people on Twitter. Jamal, Jokic is here. He's ready to play. And they came to this season, shut all of that up. Here we are in the finals, 2 games away. 2 games away. So, and for the majority of the series, he's been the second best player on the court, regardless of what jersey you have.
Without question. And in Game 3, he might have been the best player on the court. His own 30-point triple-double, 34, 10, and 10 in Game 3, and that convincing win over the Miami Heat. Before I let you get on out of here, I got a couple of more questions to ask you, and I definitely want to get to your Enjoy Basketball brand. We'll talk about that in a second. But let me ask you this. Denver wins the championship this year. They're clearly the team to go through next season. Who do you see being their biggest challenge in the West next season? Assuming we're talking about the Denver Nuggets, the reigning, defending NBA champion Denver Nuggets. If we get to that point and they hold on and beat Miami, what are we saying about their biggest challenge out the West for next season?
Every single team that would be in conversations has a huge question this offseason. We talked about how good the Lakers were. They got to the conference finals, got swept. We don't know exactly what their plan is for this offseason. We don't know if they're thinking about Kyrie Irving. We don't know if they're thinking about just bringing everybody back and running the back with 38-year-old Bron. The Phoenix Suns, is Chris Paul getting waived? Is he getting traded? What's going on with DeAndre Ayton? They just switched coaches. The Clippers are the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? We never know exactly what's going on with the Clippers. So I think as of right now, they kind of by themselves right now. You know, the Warriors Bob Myers just left the team. They got some major decisions to make. Right now, Denver is the most stable franchise in the Western Conference when it comes to talking about competing for a championship. And that's one thing that they can say over pretty much every single team. This core that is 2 games away can just come back next year and they still be really good.
Well, let me put you on the spot with a couple of rapid fire questions in regards to that same subject. What if the Lakers get CP3?
I love CP3. He's literally my favorite player of all time.
He's a legend. He's a legend.
Guy. The last 3 seasons, we saw his body give out on him come playoff time. I look at that. I look at Anthony Davis's availability being a big question mark over the last couple seasons, and the fact that LeBron James, in his age, he's destined, at least for the last couple years, to miss a chunk of time as well. And we saw in the playoffs, he went from a 30-point per game score to like a 23-point per game score. He had to go to the LeBron James of feet to just get cleared to play basketball again. Like, these are questions that they're going to have. So because of that, I would still be kind of iffy, even though I think that is one of the best opportunities for Chris Paul to potentially get that ring that he's desperately wanted for 2 decades at this point.
What if the Lakers got Kyrie Irving?
Kyrie Irving has a different element. Kyrie Irving, he's a different kind of player.
No question.
Where he has the ability to hold the team offensively better than what Chris Paul can do. Most of Chris Paul's thing is right up here at this point in his career, right? On the court, he's still good, but his mind is the thing that holds him above a lot of other point guards. Kyrie Irving, it's the actual game. You know, Kyrie Irving, when he is on the court, and we saw when it was with LeBron, how impactful he can be. And there's anybody that can bring the most out of Kyrie Irving, it is Bron. And that is the one scenario where I personally believe is the best for the Lakers to compete again, even though players 5 through 12 are going to be vet minimum, probably older ring chasing type dudes, just like the one year with Russ a few years ago. They had Carmelo Anthony, they had Avery Bradley and all of those dudes.
Okay.
But when you got those top 3 dudes, it'll be different.
What if you were Kyrie Irving? Should you want the Lakers, or should you want to reunite with Kevin Durant and join Devin Booker in Phoenix?
You know, the thing about Kyrie, and we both know this as watching him for his entire career, he is the most unpredictable NBA player in recent NBA history.
And by the way, for Kyrie Irving, in case he's listening, we're not predicting you're doing anything. We're just talking basketball. Kyrie Irving, don't get sensitive about it. We're just talking about what if you took your great talents to one of these cities. That's all we're talking. We're not saying you're going to do anything. We're just asking basketball questions. I just want to throw out the disclaimer because Kyrie Irving is watching, which you and I both know he is. Go ahead, Kenny.
Shout out to you, Ree. I think it really lies on what his priorities are, right? The Dallas Mavericks are the team that have the opportunity to give him the most money with the most amount of years attached. When we talk about the Phoenix Suns, even though they might be stretching Chris Paul's contract or waiving him or trading him to another team, or the Lakers, like, these are opportunities that Kyrie Irving has to potentially up his game and win another championship. But in the same token, these are places that he would have to take, in most places, significant pay cuts to make it a reality. At what point, do superstar players decide that that's their goal? I don't know. I've never talked to Kyrie. I don't know him, so I don't know exactly what his priorities are. But if the bag is the priority, Dallas is the way, whether it be signed into Dallas straight out or a sign and trade with Dallas to go to a second team. But going back with the Suns, or going to the Suns with Kevin Durant, I wouldn't put it past nothing, because we've seen so many crazy things in this association. But it would feel weird that they got together with 2 max spots here in Chicago at the All-Star game. Kyrie talking to KD in a ton of 2 max spots. They get to Brooklyn, and then it falls apart. And then 6 months later, they back on the same team. I wouldn't put it past them, but it would be different.
Let's transition to you before I let you get on out of here. Enjoy basketball. That's your new brand. Talk about that, man. Talk about that. What's that all about?
Yeah, so the Enjoy Basketball brand is just a way for me to basically put out and create cool stuff. I've been doing a YouTube thing for years, and I've always been just me and a camera. The Enjoy Basketball venture is more of an idea of building a network around not just the game of basketball. Like, I kind of shorten it to just enjoy at this point, because, sports in general, or every single sport has its own aspect. So it starts off as Enjoy Basketball, but it has the opportunity to branch off every single other place. Where I just want, Stephen A., this is my main priority as I hit this next chapter of my professional career, to create really cool stuff. Whether it be me in front of the camera, me directing, me producing, I just want to have the opportunity to create cool stuff. And the Enjoy brand is like the umbrella to potentially do that for me.
Well, listen, man, I think that you bring a lot to the table. And I think that, particularly being committed to helping cats on the come up and ladies on the come up, I think that's incredibly important. And as long as your heart's in the right place, who's not going to listen to you? Who's not going to follow you? You had over 1 million followers on YouTube, subscribers, obviously. You've done a lot of great work over the years, despite how young you are. I'm sitting there calling you a young fella just exposing my age. But that's all right. That's okay. That's what we do. That's what happens when you get older. You'll see. But I'm really proud of it. But when you talk about what you're hoping to accomplish, be specific about that. Is there anything specific that stands out above the crowd that you'd want to make sure to accomplish with this venture more than anything else?
I think I want to be able to look back on it in 30, 40 years and just be proud of the thing that we built. And I don't know exactly what that looks like in the moment, but I try to live my life without regret and without thinking that, oh, what if I would have taken this chance? And this is the biggest leap I've ever really taken. I've been kind of growing throughout the years and it's been pretty steady, but this is an opportunity where I just put everything on the back burner and focus on the thing that I'm passionate about. And part of that is me having my own flagship show, whatever it may look like. I don't know the specifics just yet, even though I have an idea of the aesthetic. I shout out to Ahmad Rashad. I cannot look past the show that him and Willow Bay put together in the 90s. I love it. I have an aesthetic, but not the direction just yet. But this is an opportunity for me to basically go back to the roots, which is just creating content and having fun while doing it.
Well, listen, man, all the best to you. People like myself are here to help you in any way that we can, along with various others. You got a lot of fans throughout this country, if not throughout the world. So continue doing what you're doing, my brother, and we'll talk soon, all right? By the way, before I let you get on out of here, who you got winning Game 4?
I want to see Miami win Game 4 for selfish reasons. I'm going to be in Miami if there is a Game 6, and I ain't never been to Miami. I'm rocking. I'm getting ready for it.
You might not. You're in Chicago right now, right?
I am.
You might not want to go back, bro. And then you come to Miami, you might not want to. This might be the end for you in Chicago. You might want to. I promise you, you come to Miami, they make it to Game 6, and you come to Miami. I promise you, Chicago will never look the same. You're not going to want to go back. You're not going to want to go back. I'm telling you about that right now. I'm just bracing. Stephen A. told you. You go to Miami. You come to Miami because I'm here. You come to Miami. You ain't going to want to go back to Chicago.
Hey. I'm here. I'm there for a good time, hopefully.
Oh, you're gonna have a good time. You gonna have a good time. Don't worry about that. Palm Tree Sunshine, Biscayne Bay, the multi-million-dollar yachts, the clear blue water, and the whole bit. You're going outside. Do you know that yesterday it was raining while the sun was shining? It ain't like it's gray skies and dark clouds and the rain is coming down and you can't look up. No, the sun was actually shining and it was raining at the same time. That's what goes on in Miami. Yeah. You do understand that, don't you?
I do, and I know we ain't got nothing like that here in Chicago. So
that's right.
I'm excited for it.
All right, my man. We'll talk soon. All right, take care of yourself.
Appreciate you as always. Thank you.
Always. One and only Kenny Beecham. Basketball guru extraordinaire. Young brother doing great things. I love that Enjoy Basketball brand that he's developing. I love the intent, the motivation, the vision behind it. And I think we should all jump on the bandwagon and support him in any way that we possibly can. The one and only Kenny Beecham right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show.